the initiative process doesn't guarantee you win. It guarantees you a path. If you have a better political mousetrap, you can take it to the public. You can take it to market and let the people decide. That's all we're asking for. And frankly, that's all the American people need. We have the capability. You hear so much about, oh, the public's here, or they're bought off by bennies from government, or they're all wanting to control what somebody else does in their bedroom, or what. And yet we go about our daily lives, and these aren't the people we bump into. In my neighborhood, none of my neighbors are trying to tell me what to do on my property. And I look at the where we are kind of politically, and I think most people, like the market, like freedom, think that economically we're better off that way. Now, they may not be 100% a libertarian or agree with Austrian economics or even know what the heck Austrian economics is, but they have a general view in that way. And they also generally don't butt their noses into everybody else's business. And I think that sort of kind of basic common sense attitude is our solution, is our salvation. But not if those good people have to vote for twiddly-dee and twiddly-dum. It's, there has to be a way for them to actually make the changes. And, I go back to the issue I've spent the most time in my adult life on is term limits. And here is an 80-20 issue, an issue as old as Aristotle. Aristotle and the ancient Greeks were talking about term limits. It was almost like you discovered democracy and then immediately went, oh, but let's make sure we have some limits on how long anybody can serve in office. That issue has 75, 80% support, poll after poll, for decades and decades, and not just for the last 2 or 3, going back into the 50s and 40s, and basically has been around for centuries. The American people want it. Their politicians say no. What's the difference between having an elected representative who tells you what to do and refuses to do what you tell them, and having a king who tells you what to do and refuses to do what you tell him? So we are really at a place where almost everybody, far right, far left, in the middle, anywhere on the spectrum, recognizes the system's broken. And not because of the system itself. This isn't a failure of democracy or a failure of the public spirit of Americans or anything like this. This is a bunch of people who have gotten themselves into positions of power and control, and they don't want to give it up. And they are badly outnumbered. And we Americans just have to be smart enough to figure out how to put our numbers together, how to work together, and oftentimes across political, philosophies. We're not going to all agree, and get our government under control. That is the issue. Because if we don't, when you think of some of the things that happen, I do a commentary program, and this week I did a commentary about a man in New Mexico who was pulled over by police. Supposedly a drug-sniffing dog sniffed something. The man was taken to the hospital. They did cavity searches, they did enemas, they did colonoscopy, they did all kinds of things to this man. They found not a shred of drugs on him. So did they say, we are really sorry? No. They sent him the bill from the hospital to pay. That's not the America that we all think we wake up in every morning. We are in, and it's just one instance, but we could spend the next 10 years going through instance after instance like this. It happens every day and we see it. We have to take control. We can't do that simply by electing people to office. We'll be dead, and it still won't be accomplished. We've got to look at ways to reform government, and we've got to take those issues directly to the voters, and we the people have to decide them. And I know I'll win and lose, and it's all good. If the people are deciding it, I'm convinced in the end we'll get it right.